Hey Huns, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, welcome hun. My name is Rachel. We do all things fashion, styling, literally chit-chatting about everything on the internet, on the high street, just all things clothes and fashion. So if that is your vibe, make sure you stick around. I recently put out a question on my community post that was basically just asking you guys to give me any questions or ideas you have around any wardrobe woes, issues when it comes to like styling your clothes on a day-to-day. And someone gave me a really good one. They said adjusting styling for bloating or weight fluctuation. Thank you to Rose Bloom 5563, because I think that is a fantastic question. And realistically, the fashion industry is not going to touch on this because it doesn't serve them to do so. But even on a personal level, it took me a while to acknowledge that it's nothing going on, so to speak. It's just some days will feel a little bit different. So in this video, we're going to talk about all things to do with like styling, getting into like little adjustments I make when I feel this way, and just understanding how silhouettes can make you feel a little bit better on those days. Bloating and weight fluctuation is, I feel like, the story of every woman's life. And I feel like this can go both ways. Obviously, bloating is very specific, but even weight fluctuations, I feel like the narrative is usually like if you're gaining weight, but this can really be the same way if you're losing weight. A fluctuation is a fluctuation. And I think on a personal level, it took me a while to acknowledge like my cycle, my day-to-day stress levels, temperature, weather. There are so many different things, what I've been eating, not eating, so many different things that are going to make a difference to how my body looks and definitely how I feel in my body as well. And I feel like this is such a personal thing, but it's equally such a communal thing. Like we've all probably had days where, you know, you put on something that you would usually look good in or feel good in. You pick something out of your wardrobe that's like your go-to item, and all of a sudden like you don't feel good, you don't look good. And obviously from a confidence perspective, that's already going to knock your confidence. And it can be so stressful, especially on those days, whether it's the morning, whatever, where you just need to get dressed and all of a sudden like things aren't working. I think the thing for me was, okay, cool, I might really want to wear XYZ on a particular day, but if my body just isn't accommodating it the way it usually would, then it's like, okay, cool, I have to pivot and try something different. And it's not about like hiding necessarily, but maybe concealing or just like accentuating different parts of your bodies, because again, bloating and weight fluctuation is so real. And I think the key thing here is understanding that this is not about overhauling your wardrobe, because this can be a day-to-day thing, it can be a weekly thing, a monthly thing. We're all going through so much. Again, it's so personal. So little adjustments I think are key, so you don't feel like you need to get rid of all of your clothes. If I'm thinking of one of my fixes, quote unquote, is to be thinking about the clothing you have in your wardrobe already that can accommodate the fluctuation or bloating. Waistbands, I feel like, are a really key one, because for me, I've noticed the days where I do feel a little bit bloated or just bigger, heavier, whatever it may be, I can't wear certain jeans, or even if I did, I just wouldn't feel as comfortable in it. So if you have something that's elasticated, I think that's an easy way to get around this, because whether it is, you know, you are a bit bigger or smaller, a waistband, an elasticated waistband, whether it's on a dress where the waistband is in the middle, trousers, jeans that have a bit more elasticity, I think this is an easy way just to feel a bit more comfortable in something you would naturally wear. For me, as you guys probably know, but if you're new here, I wear a lot of wide leg trousers and jeans. And so sometimes on these days, maybe I did want to wear jeans, like that was the anchor of the outfit I had in mind. But if I'm acknowledging that I'm feeling a bit bloated or bigger in that section, I would just opt for wearing trousers instead, because material wise, they're a little bit lighter. They'll have a little bit more give, as opposed to jeans, which are naturally a little bit more rigid. So I'd feel like anything that allows you just to breathe and feel a bit more comfortable is definitely one thing to consider. To that point, I think the second thing is the materials that you're wearing. On my days where I feel a little bit bigger, I feel bloated, whatever it may be, I'm not really gravitating towards denim. Stiff sort of like cottons, denim, all of those materials, I think will just sort of like exacerbate and really highlight how you're feeling. So what I would usually go for is something a little bit softer, something that maybe falls a bit better. It could be knits, which again, maybe is not seasonal all the time, but it could be, you know, linens, just something a little bit lighter. I did a recent Zara shop actually. I did the Zara and the ASOS haul I did, and there was an asymmetric top that I picked up, which I'll put on the screen for you just now. That sort of top or item would be perfect because it's a knit. It's very, the way it falls will allow me to feel a little bit more comfortable. And then if I was pairing that with like wide leg trousers in linen, for example, it's just a little bit less restrictive. And again, it will just skim over maybe the parts that I'm not necessarily feeling on that particular day. I think fabrics or materials or items in your wardrobe that you know naturally drape or fall will be really, really good for this. It could even be items that are ruched as well. Like for example, this top I'm wearing from ASOS, that could be a good way to go about it, because ruching kind of brings back an element of shape and silhouette without necessarily always being too clingy. So you definitely want to go for your jerseys, your knits, your linens, things that just have a bit more of a flow to them. Something else you could do, and I know I said this, but I'll preface this again, I don't think I want us to get into the habit of thinking like, oh, I need to hide something. But naturally, if you are, you know, bloated, feeling a bit heavier on a particular day, layering is another good thing you can do. Obviously, this is weather dependent, but having an outfit, whether it's a tank and jeans, I know I said jeans, but of course, you know, there's options there. But even if you're going to wear something like that, wearing a cardigan or a blazer, something that is not about hiding, but something that takes the eye away from maybe like your midriff area to the blazer itself. Something that maybe nips in at the waist, but it's not actually holding or hugging you. I think it's about like just redirecting the eye to what it's looking like. And most times, you and I know, it's the sort of thing where you feel this way, people probably aren't seeing it like that. But just to feel a bit more comfortable and a bit more confident in your outfit, these are the days that maybe I wear something that's almost like a peplum, is a really, really good one. Or something that just draws the eye to a different part of the body. And I guess another point, if we're tying that in, find something else to become the statement or the anchor of your outfit. So again, if we're talking about bloated, those are the days where it's like, I don't need anything in that area. So it could be that I wear something like this, something that draws the attention to maybe my shoulders, or it could be accessorizing with like necklaces, earrings. You know, guys, I wear my jewelry anyway, but something that just draws the eye to a different part of your body. It could be your shoes, it could be, you know, your coat, your jacket, your blazer, just something different, I think is another easy fix and a way to just kind of deter attention from that particular area. All of those things do not require you changing your wardrobe. And obviously it's just acknowledging like how you're feeling on that day. It's giving yourself grace. It's allowing you to feel a bit more comfortable. This is not the time. I'm thinking weight fluctuations, bloating. This is not the time to be trying to wear something that, you know, you just about fit into, or wear something that you haven't worn out before. Like, it's not the day to experiment, I would say. It's definitely a time to like pick the items, pick the materials, pick the fabrics and the silhouettes that work for you, and again, deter from the areas maybe you don't want attention on. But I just think it's like, it's the mindset of being like, okay, this is a natural thing. First and foremost, I'm saying this and we all know it's a very natural thing. And so it's sort of like, why give I know for me, it's just like, I'm not gonna stress myself. If I'm feeling bloated and I wanted to wear a bodycon dress for whatever reason, we're just gonna have to switch it up. Obviously, you've got like undergarments, you've got Spanx, you've got so much that you could wear. But sometimes I feel like, again, that adds to the issue of just feeling really restricted and tight. So yeah, I just feel like it's about pivoting, if anything, thinking about different ways to style your outfit. So as I've mentioned, thinking of tailored pieces that have a silhouette that draw your attention to elsewhere, pieces that are maybe asymmetric because they naturally draw your eye line downwards rather than across. Things like that would be what I would suggest. Now, I mentioned layering, and I'm someone that doesn't really wear long line cardigans, for example, but I know I've mentioned blazers. I'll put some outfit options on the screen because, again, a big part of this is thinking about styling. But you guys know I'm always talking about silhouette, and I think it's really about almost like tricking the eye to what you want it to see. If you're feeling bloated, a really easy way to do this is to detract attention from your whole upper body. So you might wear something brighter, bolder, maybe more pattern on the bottom. As I've mentioned, shoes can be a really good one for doing this. So essentially you're still, again, just drawing the eye and the attention to the lower half of your body without it being around like your midsection. Shoulders, so we're thinking necklines. If you go for something a bit more open or a bit more of a V, it's naturally going to draw attention to, you know, the décolletage area, your chest, your shoulders. And again, this is going to be a bit of a mix for everyone, because then if you don't like your shoulders, then, you know, you have to play around with that a little bit. But I really do think it's about almost tricking the eye to what it is seeing. Blazers are a really good thing to introduce. Wide leg trousers or something that's just sort of offsets that area. So we're thinking slightly wider, a bit more tapered at the top. And you could be tapered at the top without it being tight. Again, I think that's very much dependent on shoulders and what sort of neckline you're wearing. So if you're feeling bloated, really the key thing is you don't want anything tight from a comfort perspective, and you don't want anything figure hugging that will draw attention to that area. Peplums, as I've mentioned in my recent video, are a really, really big silhouette that we're seeing more and more of. And the fantastic thing with a peplum is it comes in right where you want it to, and then it skims over everything else. This is nothing to do with, you know, childbearing or wanting kids or anything like that. But just from a visual perspective, if you are trying to hide a bump, what would you do? You're not gonna wear anything figure hugging. You're not gonna wear anything that's tight because it will be uncomfortable. So we're thinking peplums, we're thinking things that bring your silhouette outwards. That would really, really help. Long line items, whether it's a blazer, a cardigan, or even a top or dress, are really good as well, because it will bring the eye line down and kind of skims over that area as well. Ultimately, I'm saying all of this because, again, it's so personal, and I'm literally thinking of things I've had to do where I'm like, ooh, today's not the day for this dress, or it's not the day for these jeans. And I've had really uncomfortable days of trying to like squeeze into things where it's just like, it's just not the day for this. So ultimately, I hope that helps. The key thing is it's all in the mind. Most people are not paying attention to the things that we on a day-to-day are thinking about when we look at our own bodies. And so I think comfort is a really big one, and just understanding that you will be able to pick up that item or that piece on a different day, but today's just not that day. Give yourself the grace to feel comfortable and still feel and look good as well. If this has resonated with you, I do have some other videos that I've done just like on a general note of, you know, building outfits, why your outfits might look unfinished, and how just to like make sure you have key and really good pieces in your wardrobe. I will link all of that for you guys in the cards and down below as well. But ultimately, guys, it happens to the best of us. We're all gonna feel a little bit bigger. We're all gonna feel bloated. It's just about how you make it work for you on that day. All right, my darlings, that's it for now, but I'll be back with some more. Again, any comments, anything you want me to touch on, leave it below. You can DM me on Instagram, as I've mentioned already, Rachel AS __, so 2 underscores. I'm here to chat because I feel like, what haven't I thought about? What haven't I felt when it comes to like getting dressed and styling my outfits on a day-to-day? And I'm really just keen to make sure that whilst we're doing the hauls and shopping, we're having these conversations so you guys actually know what you want in your wardrobe and maybe what you don't want in your wardrobe. Till the next one, my darlings, stay well, stay blessed, good vibes only, and I'll catch you soon. Bye.